Iowa Live.
From the Kyle Chevrolet Studios in West Des Moines, welcome to Iowa Live. I am Lou, and it is time to visit with Kim Baer from the Baer Law Office to talk about something you really need to pay attention to, especially if you plan on getting married in the very near future. Kim, welcome.
Yes, good morning, Lou. How are you?
Now, are we going to be getting married again here?
Sure.
About the 11th time?
Yeah. Well, I think it's actually the 12th time, so now you're in trouble.
I knew it, but we're talking about something that is very important, isn't it?
Yes, well, it's springtime, and so, love is in the air, and people are planning weddings,
Yep.
and so I thought it might be helpful to talk about prenuptial agreements.
All right, let's talk about those. Let's explain what those are.
Yes, so what it is it's a written agreement that you're going to enter into with your spouse that says, here's what we're going to treat as premarital or separate property. So.
Okay, and why do people need to have a prenup?
Well, I think there's a misconception. I think people think that in Iowa, if they, so let's just use an example. You and I are getting married, and maybe I own a house. So a lot of times people think, well, I own a house, so it's my house. It doesn't matter that we're getting married because I owned it before we got married.
Okay.
But if we're married a long time, a judge has the right, if we get divorced later, to just throw the whole thing into the pot and say, nope, we're just going to treat it all as marital property.
Really? So
yes.
This is really, and I think a lot of people have the misconception that if you have a prenup, it's saying that you're looking for something to fail in the future.
Right. And so what I tell people is, look, most likely you have something, your spouse has something they're bringing into the marriage. So let's just protect everybody, and I tell my clients, just blame your attorney. Say, hey, I told my attorney I was getting married, and she immediately asked me about a prenup. So it just sets forth what's going to happen in the event that there is a divorce. And so, a lot of times people are worried about inheritance. They're worried about farmland. They're worried about a business. If you own a business, that's an issue. If you, even 401ks, let's say that you and I are married and you've built up, a couple $100,000 in your 401k. Right. If we get married and we're married for 15, 20, 25 years and then we're getting divorced, you may say, okay, well, the first 200 is mine. And the judge may say, I don't think so, Lou. We're going to put everything in the pot because it's been a long-term marriage. Yes.
Right. So this is really to protect all parties.
Yes. And people need to know we cannot use a prenuptial agreement to limit child support or alimony. So we can't address those things.
Okay.
So, yes.
Now, you mentioned business. Are there any different provisions that have to be taken into account when it comes to business, or is that all part of the deal?
That's all part of the deal. So if somebody has a business and they want to just say, look, my business is my business and it's not ever going to be marital property, we can do that. If they want to say, okay, today you and I are getting married and my business is worth $200,000.
Okay.
So I'm going to put in the prenup that the first $200,000 of the business is mine, and then after that we would divide it.
So in case the business does take off at that point.
Yes. And we don't have to protect everything. So here's a good example. I had somebody come to me and they said, I'm going to inherit farmland and I just want to protect that, and we're not going to put anything else in the prenup. We're just going to address the farmland, and that was fine.
All right.
So,
now, how soon before you get married does this need to take effect?
So it has to be signed before you get married, and it needs to be signed fairly soon within the marriage. So we typically tell people 6 weeks, 7 weeks is when we want to try and sign it, because obviously you don't want to sign it and then go walk down the aisle. The reason for that is both parties have to disclose all of their assets and all of their debts, and it has to be a reasonably accurate disclosure. So if you and I signed one and then a year later got married, most likely it's not going to be accurate. So we want to do it,
So it is fairly quick then?
Yes, it's fairly quick.
Within reason?
Yes, within reason. And typically if somebody calls us or if you call your attorney, they usually can turn around, a prenup within a few days if you need one.
Okay, now what about the cost of a prenup?
So we typically do ours on a flat fee unless there's going to be a lot of negotiation. So in other words, if you and I were in agreement and we called a lawyer and we said this is what we want and we're in agreement, that might be a flat fee. But if you and I are kind of going back and forth and I'm saying, well, this, and you're saying no, that, then you probably are going to be charged hourly.
Okay, so if you are planning on getting married here, and again, let's talk, in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
This is the perfect time to start talking about this.
Now's the perfect time, or if you're even going to get married in the fall, now's the time to be bringing it up and just say, look, let's just all agree that we're gonna sit down like adults and figure out what do I have and what do you have. And most people will say, oh, I don't want to make make a claim against what you have.
Right.
Yeah, and so, all right, well, let's put it in writing then.
Yeah, and that's the important thing,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it
All right,
really is.
now, if you have any questions about this, the best thing to do is what?
Just give us a call. If you already have an attorney, give your attorney a call, but otherwise give us a call, 515-279-2000.
All right, just that simple. Just take precautions. If you are getting married, this is something you really need to consider, and it's fairly simple to do as well.
Oh, it is. It's very straightforward.
All right, wonderful. Kim, great information as always. And this time we'll see if we can stay married a little longer. Okay. Okay.